Welcome to English, Please, the podcast where we explore interesting topics in under 10 minutes in clear, intermediate English. I'm your host, Christopher. I live in New York City, and I've always been passionate about languages and how we learn them. Whether you're listening on your way to work or while cooking dinner at home, this show is designed to help you with your English listening and comprehension skills. As I've mentioned, I'm sending occasional newsletters to assist you on your journey to fluency. I'll continue to make the newsletters more and more useful during Season 3. If you're interested, you can sign up at the link in the show notes. If you enjoy this podcast and would like to support it, you can send a small donation, maybe $1 to $5, or the same amount in your own currency, through a site called Buy Me a Coffee at coff.ee/English Please. It's a simple way to help me cover the costs of making the podcast. No pressure, but I appreciate anything, no matter how small. There's a link in the show notes. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to Florida for a long weekend to see some family there. And as I was packing my bag today, I was thinking about the uniqueness of Florida compared to many of the states here in the USA. It's different for reasons that are both good and bad, or at least strange. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about Florida. I imagine you've heard of it. Maybe the beaches, Miami, Disney, or maybe you've heard some of the crazy and unbelievable stories that often come from Florida. Florida is one of the most famous states in the U.S. It's located in the southeast of the country, and it's almost completely surrounded by water, with the Atlantic Ocean on one side and the Gulf of Mexico on the other. Just a note. The Gulf of Mexico has recently been renamed the Gulf of America by the U.S. government. But like most people here in the U.S. and around the world, I'm going to continue to use the historic name. Because Florida is warm and sunny most of the year, people call it the Sunshine State. Florida has people from lots of different places. Many residents come from Latin America and the Caribbean, especially Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Haiti. Others come from the northern U.S. states to retire in the warm weather. This mix of people makes Florida full of different cultures. Spanish is spoken in many areas, especially in the South. You can eat food from many countries, hear different kinds of music, and join many cultural festivals. Florida is important for tourism, farming, and space exploration. Millions of people visit every year to enjoy the beaches, theme parks, and nature. Oranges and other fruits from Florida are sold all over the country. It is also home to the Kennedy Space Center, where rockets and satellites have been launched into space for decades. But Florida is also famous for something else: strange and unbelievable stories. People all over the world hear about Florida Man in the news. Florida Man is a funny name people use for strange news stories from Florida. These stories usually have headlines with the words Florida Man, like, Florida Man finds alligator in his kitchen. It usually means a man in Florida did something unusual or foolish. You often hear about unusual events in Florida that involve wild animals, strange crimes, or reckless behavior. For example, there are stories about people trying to ride alligators, stealing from stores while wearing costumes, or calling the police because a fast food restaurant forgot their fries. A man once built a small boat out of a discarded refrigerator and tried to sail it across a river. Another time, drivers stopped traffic to help capture a runaway kangaroo. And sometimes storms bring sea creatures onto roads. So there are true stories of people finding fish or even small sharks far from the ocean. Why do so many of these stories come from Florida? One reason is the state's sunshine laws, which are laws that make all police and court records available to the public. This means journalists, or really anyone, can easily see and publish details of strange events that happen every day. Another reason is Florida's environment and lifestyle. The hot and humid weather, the presence of dangerous wildlife, and a culture of outdoor activities mean more chances for unusual situations. Florida also has a large number of tourists, and sometimes visitors do risky things they would never try at home. On top of that, the state's population is big and very diverse, so more people means more stories, both good and bad. Florida's weather really is different from most other states. In much of the U.S., there are 4 seasons. In Florida, it feels like summer for most of the year. It has palm trees, tropical plants, sandy beaches, and wetlands like the Everglades. Florida is also a bridge between the U.S., the Caribbean, and Latin America, and this makes its culture unique. When people think of Florida, they also think about famous tourist attractions. Walt Disney World in Orlando is one of the most visited places in the world. There is also Universal Studios, Miami Beach, and the Everglades National Park. These attractions bring millions of tourists every year from all over the world. Today, more than 22 million people live in Florida. They live in big cities like Miami, Tampa, and Orlando, as well as in small towns. Many people move there for jobs or to enjoy the weather. But life in Florida is not always easy. Hurricanes, flooding, and rising sea levels are all big problems, and people there can't seem to agree on the solutions. In conclusion, Florida is sunny, diverse, and full of life. It's a place where you can find beautiful beaches, exciting attractions, and also some of the strangest news stories you will ever hear. It is unlike anywhere else in the United States. And I expect to hear some crazy stories during my visit this weekend. Again, I'm Christopher, and I want to invite you to join me in future episodes of English Please to hear about a variety of topics, all focused on helping you with your English. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts, and let's continue this adventure together in clear, understandable English. And please, if you enjoy this podcast and would like to support it, visit coff.ee/EnglishPlease. It's just a simple way to help me cover the costs of making the podcast. I appreciate anything, no matter how small. Sincere thanks, as always, for listening. See you soon!